Hi, I'm Phil Whitby and I'm here to say don't be alarmed. Let's think about the future of automation and the future of our work and play. So every time you set an out of office notification or set up a reminder or an alarm or even control your central heating with your phone, you're engaging in automation of a process. Like automation is using a machine or something non-human to intervene where a human previously intervened. Automation has evolved into this catch-all term for using any technological equipment in an industrial process. And at the moment, there's a lot of consternation and anxiety about how this is going to negatively affect career and job opportunities in the future for the next generation or even the current generation of workers. And this is extremely valid. However, here are some of the jobs that no one is regretting the demise of. So we've got the knocker up, which is somebody that would, for a few pennies, would come round and fire a pea shooter at your window, knock on your window, throw stones, and they would wake you up in the morning so that you would be able to go to your factory job, most likely, without being late and therefore losing out on income. And like a human snooze button, they would hang around until you got up. Another career that has sadly gone down the tubes is a pin setter, which would usually be small boys who would rack up all the pins in a bowling alley. Now this was obviously automated, in the middle of last century, so that bowling alleys could stay up 24 hours. Amazing. Wow. Now, one I quite like the idea of is a lector. And a lector was an individual that would sit in the midst of all the workers, again in a factory or industrial workplace, and read the day's news from a newspaper or read a book to entertain workers as they did their manual tasks quietly and monotonously. Now, this was obviously automated by the invention of the radio. Now, the last one I'm going to talk about is something that you may not be aware of, which is the computer. So when you're using a computer, that was originally a person. It was a very specific job carried out mostly by women, if not entirely, in the 30s on behalf of NASA. Now, their job as computers was to perform calculations on engineering test results that were performed by the predominantly male engineers. And they would effectively act like an Excel spreadsheet made flesh and perform the calculations and sum them up all in their rows. Now, obviously with the invention of the computer, the physical technological marvel, they were made redundant. Now, the reason why I bring this one up is not just because it's interesting, but because it reflects one of the earliest replacements by automation of what I call white-collar, university degree level jobs. And now we're living in what could be a golden era for automation of those level of jobs. Most of the jobs that have been replaced recently, and you may see this, it's very visible when you go out shopping, is the introduction of automated tills. That's understandable as it's retail. This is a very monotonous, almost factory-like process. So I think when people see this automation, they're not as afraid about what it means as they would be if they saw where automation is threatening in the future. The UK Office of National Statistics released a report outlining the potential for automation in the coming years. And even jobs such as video, film editing, or film production have a probability of around 0.3 of being automated in the near future. And jobs such as teacher and even programmer have a similar probability. Now, these are careers that previously would have been considered untouchable by automation, but the signs have been there for a while. In our office, we've been listening to Ava, which is a artificial intelligence music producing algorithm, and really we could not tell a difference between the music it produced and the music that a human would produce. No matter what genre it was, and there was many from classical to heavy rock, we didn't consider any of this to be robotic in nature. And one of the interesting questions this does raise is that with automation, we've been promised more free time. And recently there's been one of the second biggest unions in the country has been canvassing for a 4-day working week. Now, what do we do with that spare time if creative pursuits have also been automated? What sort of meaning can you derive from your life other than having children, family, adventure? What kind of creative meaning does your life have if you know, your self-actualization is supplanted by a machine that can do what you like doing, but in an infinitely more specific way, like without fatigue? You know, it can take sort of 3 to 6 months to produce an album for a recording artist. Ava could produce more, you know, several albums in that time, hundreds of albums potentially. And not only that, it could be tailored to your taste as a consumer. If you want to revive Jimi Hendrix, say, and see what his next album could have sounded like, who's to say that the algorithm can't synthesize something that's just as satisfying? I remember reading an article about how the secret behind the effect, the spine-tingling effect of songs by singers such as Adele is that they can flip from, you know, one octave to the other at specific points in the song to give you that ASMR tingle. Now, if you can codify that kind of emotional impact of a song, surely you can code it. My name's Phil B. Thanks for watching today, my video about automation and the future of our work and play. Please leave a comment below with your contribution and maybe I'll join you there for a discussion. And don't forget to subscribe. See you soon.